Not only is he an oyster farmer and the harbor master in Sullivan, but he is an outstanding human being. Grant Platner.
To you.
Yeah. I can tell that my mother has not kept her mouth shut. Okay, it was Matt's fault. Thank you. Yes, today is my birthday, which is very strange. I generally don't celebrate my birthday, but this year it seems a little bit different, and so I'm happy to do so with all of you here today, and tonight with Bernie Sanders on stage. So I'm here today as a member of this community. I'm here today as a working Mainer, and I want to talk to you about how organized labor built this country. Many of us here in America take for granted the right to an 8-hour workday, the right to be paid a fair wage for our labor, that our children have the right to receive an education, that we have the right to not toil ourselves to death. But we often forget that those rights were not handed to us by altruistic politicians. They were not handed to us by the good graces of those in power. Those rights were won on the streets. They were won through the bravery of the men and the women, immigrants and parents, craftsmen, steel and textile workers, rail workers, who said enough to the 70-hour work weeks, who said enough to burying their children before their 20th birthdays. Those rights were won when workers realized the power of banding together and turning out into the streets to fight for a better life. And we are still in that fight today. Right here in Maine, labor unions have won important protections for workers in the last decade alone. Equal pay laws, protections from workplace discrimination, collective bargaining for public sector employees. These have made work less precarious and safer for many of us. Paid family and medical leave and improvements to workers' compensation laws help us take care of our families and grow our health. But we know that we still have work to do. For nearly 100 years, agricultural and domestic workers have lacked the right to organize under the National Labor Relations Act, a shameful legacy of America's economic history of racial exploitation. Here in Maine, organizers have led the fight to bargaining rights to our brothers and sisters working in these sectors. And despite those calls being heard in the legislature, bills guaranteeing collective bargaining rights to farm workers have been vetoed not once, not twice, but 3 times by the sitting governor. Dividing the working class into those who are and are not entitled to benefits is just one of the ways our rights as workers have been eroded. Today, right-to-work laws undermine union efforts in 26 states. These are not grassroots campaigns to give workers more freedom. These are policies manufactured by groups like the Heritage Foundation and the American Legislative Exchange Council to strip workers of their rights in the name of unspeakable corporate profits. Through public sector privatization, through corporate consolidation, and through legal loopholes, the erosion of organized labor has been a part of the project of neoliberalism, and it is working. Today, union membership in Maine is only 1/3 of what it was at its peak 70 years ago. This is not unique to Maine. Across the US, only 10% of workers reap the benefits of organized labor. And that number is even lower in the private sector. And I want to make this point very clear. That is not because Americans do not support unions. More than 70% of Americans approve of labor unions today, more than at any time in the last 50 years. Union membership is low because organized labor has been systematically eroded in this country by those who benefit from our exploitation. Organized labor has been eroded because those in power know that unions are a threat to the ideologies that place profits over people's lives. Organized labor has been eroded because the billionaires who run our companies and buy our politicians know that they cannot hoard wealth and power while our families go without for much longer. And it has been systematically eroded because all of us recognize in our bones that once we realize the material benefits of collectively bargaining for a better workplace, we suddenly have the infrastructure at our disposal to bargain for a better everything. The good news is that this message is getting through. Labor unions are gaining ground in new industries and seeing a resurgence across the U.S. as workers recognize the power of solidarity. I see it here in my own community, here in Hancock County, where our small community organizations are gaining new members every day. Neighbors, friends, family, and others in our community who are coming together in recognition that our current systems are unsustainable. As we grow our membership, we grow the pool of skills, the vision, the manpower, the resources, and the knowledge to build better systems, to build systems that take care of our families, to build systems of solidarity and connection, to build systems where we see the fruits of our labor and can extend them back into our communities to all who need them. We don't have to wait for someone to hand us this power. We have it already. To quote IWW tradesman Joseph Edor, if the workers of the world want to win, all they have to do is recognize their own solidarity. They have nothing to do but fold their arms and the world will stop. The workers are more powerful with their hands in their pockets than all the property of the capitalists. But this is not just a call to remember the history of labor in this country. It's a call to recognize that that history was made possible by communities stepping up to support labor organizing. The question before many of us is not, should I join a union or should I join a strike, but how am I going to feed myself if I do? How am I going to get medical care that I need for my family if I do? How am I going to pay my rent if I do? These dependencies are built into the system of exploitation.